Hello everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. Okay, so today I have for you a video, obviously, and it is one of the most, I think I say this every time I do a reaction video, but this is one of the most, I don't know how to describe it, most like condensedly requested, if that makes sense. I've had so many requests to react to this video in such a short amount of time, like so many times daily. So what I thought I'll do is a reaction to Snitchery, why you should change your entire makeup routine. All right. The reason I kind of wanted to react to this in particular, not just because you guys recommended it so much, also I'm sorry about saying my eyebrows, I need to thread them. Anyway, I got so many messages on Instagram. I saw in comments on YouTube, people saying, oh, this is Robert Welsh's trick, you know, give credit. You should credit, you know, who you actually got this from. And I've seen this quite a bit now that this like trend is of concealer, you know, putting a bit here and a bit here is becoming like more popular. A lot of people are like, oh, give credit to me. Here's why you don't have to do that. So don't concern yourself with things like credit. Giving people credit, first of all, in makeup is like trying to give people credit for like, I don't know, sneezing. Like you do it, it's a different way from other people, but ultimately everyone's done it before. So, but here's why you don't really have to credit me for everything. My whole channel is about teaching classic makeup techniques. So if we think about it in a timeline, where's the beginning for you guys? I started off trained classically in makeup the same way really everyone else had at that same time. The techniques that I was using was pretty much the same as everyone else, and of course you learn from other people. Then YouTube and social media happened, and then trends, you know, and fads and phases started to happen within makeup application, and then this whole Instagram makeup application started to happen, and now we're coming back into this more natural, more classic way of doing makeup. So what I am teaching you, or what I'm trying to teach you, is classic makeup artistry. It's not my technique at all in any way. There's makeup artists on YouTube who have been doing this for years. You know, there's people that do classic makeup artistry, and that to me is what makeup artistry is. It's not this Instagram, YouTube version of makeup. So to give me credit for a technique that actually real life makeup artists, and I mean editorial, working in the field of makeup in the fashion industry, are actually using every day of their lives, you don't need to do that, because I'm just teaching you what they do all the time. I've done a video where it's like my concealer technique, only because, I don't know if you guys know this, but when you type your name into YouTube, you can see what people have been searching, and a lot of the time it was Robert Welsh concealer technique or Robert Welsh blush or something like that. So I called a video my concealer technique because I knew people would want to watch it. It's not really mine in any way. It's a classic makeup technique. I hope that makes sense. I feel like I repeat myself a million times, but please don't feel like you need to have my back crediting me for anything. If I was to do a makeup look, literally write my name across my forehead and somebody copied that, then yeah, credit me. But again, everything's been done before. There is nothing new in makeup. There's exciting things in makeup, but nothing is fully new. We've been doing makeup since humans have been around. It might be a different kind of makeup, but you know, makeup has been around for millions of years. So maybe not in the form we know it now, but at some point we're going to have to stop giving people credit and stuff. So that's why I wanted to react to this, because I want to see somebody use classic makeup techniques that are for everybody, by everybody, yeah, and see how it goes. And I'm guessing that a nice concealer technique is using this, because if people are saying, oh, that's Robert's concealer technique, then I guess it's similar to that classic makeup concealer technique. So I know that was a really long introduction. I'm sorry, I just wanted to get that out there because I hate seeing potential arguments about giving people credit. It's frustrating and it's unnecessary. And if you're going to create something and put it out there, then expect to be imitated. That's just life. That's how everything has come around. Okay, except artwork. If you're an artist and your art's copied, sue them. If you don't know who I am, like I said before, my name's Robert. I'm a professional makeup artist. I've been doing makeup for about 12 years now. And the reason I make these reaction videos, and I think I made it clear just a minute ago, is to kind of show the classic, more realistic version of makeup. And some people may say there are no rules to makeup. You can do however you want. Absolutely, there are no rules to creativity and individuality, but makeup does have a theory, and I am here to teach those who want to learn that. Shuffling this way, and we have Snitchery on the YouTube.
Hey guys, what is up? It is SNITCHERY. How you doing? Today's video is going to be showing you guys the ways in which I have changed my routine, especially now that we've been home for 2 months, to make my makeup look better in person rather than just on camera. I think a lot of times when, I'm guilty of this, right? Beauty influencers create tutorials. They're doing it so that it looks good on camera, sort of subconsciously, just because we're looking at ourselves in the monitor while we're filming. We want things to look good on film because you guys are going to be seeing it that way. But in reality, a lot of the makeup that looks really good on camera doesn't look that good in person. It can look cakey. It can look way too heavy. I want to show you
literally exactly that. There's no better way to put it.
you guys the way that I actually do my makeup when I'm not going to be filming and when I'm not going to be on camera, but I am going to be like around people. Just makeup that actually looks good face to face, which I feel like a lot of YouTubers don't address.
100%, and I say this a lot. It would be really nice if YouTubers would say during their videos, this looks great on camera. I've done a few videos where I changed my lighting. I turn off all my lights and I do makeup in real lighting so you can see how dark my foundation is. When I first started doing YouTube videos, I wore my foundation that I wore every day. Because that was my shade. But on camera, it looked so pale. So I wear a shade of foundation on camera that's about 2 shades darker than my skin in real life. And I show it in the video so clearly. I turn off all my lights one by one and I open my blind here and we go in real lighting and you can see how yellow and too dark for my skin my foundation is. So it's such a good point. When you are watching a YouTube video, when it comes to skin, when it's like how to make your skin look smooth or how to make your skin look whatever, are they doing it outside in their garden or in real lighting? Because studio lighting is completely different. Everything's going to look smooth in studio lighting.
I'm going to be skipping over skincare in this video as I typically...
I was going to say, just quickly, when she says change every step of your routine, I think that might be quite literal. Because a lot of people have grown up on making their skin routines from what they have seen on YouTube. So it'll be very interesting to see what point she changes.
I think one thing that I see a lot of beauty people not talking about is the fact that one primer is not going to service you the same in all situations, right? So what I've been doing lately is actually just nixing primer all together. With the minimal makeup that I wear when I try to do this face-to-face flattering makeup look, I don't need a really, really sticky primer. One of my favorite primers of all time is Milk Hydro Grip, which is extremely sticky, but for face-to-face interactions, I don't need that really, really sticky base. So what I've been doing is actually just using a moisturizer.
Again, I think I say this in nearly every video. Primers are great for situational skin. You use your primer in certain situations. If you know you're going to be extremely oily that day, use a primer. If you know you're extremely dehydrated that day, use a primer. Primers aren't necessary on the skin. I think eye primers are necessary, but for the face, not really, unless you have dramatically oily skin or dramatically dry skin. They can help with a situation, but so can skincare. Next
is concealer, and this is one that I really had to learn as somebody who does have really deep set, really pigmented under eye.
So let's bear in mind, let's think about color correction and how that is done on YouTube videos. They use this heavy orange tone, even if their eyes are already quite red in tone. You don't need an orange to color correct because that's not the point. So it'd be really interesting to see how she color corrects this in a way that she thinks is more suitable for real life, because I'll tell you now, you probably don't even have to color correct it. You can probably just use a concealer.
My bags, a lot of times you'll see, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, big concealer triangles. Speaking as somebody who does have quite severe under eyes compared to the average bear, you do not need that much concealer, okay? Listen to me. Are you listening? You do not need that much concealer. You don't. I will show you on myself a good under eye model that you really do not need to do that giant triangle of like pigment. It's going to add texture. It's going to make your makeup look thicker. You really don't need this whole area highlighted. It's not doing anything to lift your face. Instead, what I want you guys to do, only put concealer right here, just on the outside of your eye. That might seem kind of counterproductive because most of the pigment in my under eyes is right underneath my eyes. I'm going to be using this sponge. Also, I don't even know where I got this little silicone sponge, but what you're hopefully going to see is that when you blend out and up, this is also going to help lift your face. So be sure to blend up like this rather than just straight out, and certainly not down. It's this distinct line of pigment on the outside, for me at least, that makes my under eye bags look so severe. And then I'm slowly bringing just the residue that's on my sponge in towards my inner eye. That tiny amount of concealer, do you see how it lifted my entire face and how this under eye looks so much less severe than this under eye? It only took a couple of dots of concealer, but over here, compared to over here is literally like night and day.
100%. Here's the thing, I personally don't like those silicone sponges as a whole face applicator, but if you're used to having a lot of coverage under the eye, something as firm and dense as that is going to give you a fuller coverage. I don't know why people are like, this is the same technique as you, because this is actually different to the technique I do myself, but it works just the same. It's still using a lesser amount of concealer that's not cakey, and exactly like she said, that is such a good point, that putting this triangle here doesn't help to shape or define your face. Not everyone has the same facial structure. For people that maybe have a fuller area here, you might not necessarily need to do that triangle. Actually, you don't need to do that triangle for anyone, but bear in mind what highlighting your face and making areas of your face brighter, bear in mind what that does for your individual face shape, not for everyone's. She clearly pointed out here as well that she pulled it up this way because it highlighted this area there. And you can see the difference. Yes, you can still see some colour coming through on the side that she's covered, but it looks natural, it looks real. It doesn't look discoloured, it looks like a real skin.
Okay? A lot of the steps I'm doing here are not gonna look as good on camera, I think, as the usual makeup I do, just because, like I said, usually I'm checking the monitor back and forth, cross-referencing to make sure that everything looks seamless on camera, whereas today I'm just gonna show you guys what's gonna look good in my mirror. If you don't believe me, try all this at home. Next is going to be my base, so my foundation. It is my true blue belief that nobody needs a full face of foundation. I literally do not think a single person needs a full face foundation. Lots of people want full faces of foundation, and that is fabulous. Foundation can look beautiful, but nobody needs it. So if you don't want to wear it, especially not all over your face, I would recommend spot foundationing. I know a lot of people do this with concealer where they'll like spot conceal their under eyes or pimples or whatever, but what I like to do is spot foundation. I get a shade that I think matches me perfectly. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Illuminating Foundation in 305N, and if you guys can see, I only really have discoloration around my mouth. I'm running out of this stuff, so instead of pumping, I'm actually just gonna drop a little right here and spot conceal even further. It took me a long time to realize that I don't need foundation here, so there's no reason for me to put more product and more pigment on my face where I don't need it. I'm going to take the accompanying setting powder from Anastasia, and I am just gonna dust that. Actually, not even dust. I'm gonna stipple that in to where I have a little bit of product. So for brows, the big thing I would say...
That's up there. Such a good point. If you notice, a lot of people on their face, and again, it's different for everyone, people might have breakouts around their chin, on their forehead, whatever, but a lot of the time your discoloration is in the center of the face. It's around the nose here, it's on the cheeks. So to then cover your whole face in a foundation that you don't need. Some people might want full coverage, that's absolutely fine for a night out, whatever. Spot treating is such a great idea, and this is why sometimes you see people using a really dark yellow foundation. It's such a good point to get it to match. Not everyone has a yellow undertone, let me just say that. I know they're teaching that in makeup schools a lot recently, but not everyone has a yellow undertone. So to get something for your face that you can use in little patches and for it to blend perfectly is so important because it matches your face. You know, some people may fake tan their neck, whatever, but you can get something light like a powder that you can use on your whole face if you don't want a full coverage day, you know?
Is that I always really like to keep hair-like strokes in my brows rather than just having a sort of a wash of color. It's the reason I prefer pencils to pomades. I think when you lose the look of the little individual hairs, that's sort of when you look like you're wearing a lot of makeup in your brow. If you see the top, it's supposed to make little hair-like strokes, so I'm gonna see how it does. That's bomb. That is bomb. That is a sick product. Okay, I'm excited.
I love products like this that you can get, like she said, you can see every individual hair. Just looks more real. Yeah, it's fine to have like an Insta brow where it's like that block, but still, I still think leave the front here with some texture to it, just so it looks real. I hate squared off brows, squared off, circled off brows. The worst. They just don't look real. I agree with everything she's saying. To have like those lines and like those flicks is beautiful. That's a great product. So she does liner and she uses some magnetic lashes, which actually look incredible.
And then what I like to do is take this really dense little brush again, go back into that Anastasia powder, and I non-tour out my contour. So I'm powder right along where my contour would be, and I'm gonna fill it in all the way down to the bottom with this powder. This is not going to leave a white residue, but it is going to lighten up my skin just enough where we'll get the hint of a contour without actually having to put any pigment down. So we're not going to have a harsh line, which looks incredible on camera because you can always deceive the camera better than you can deceive someone face to face, right? Like a harsh contour line on camera looks freaking bomb. You look snatched as hell, but in person...
That's so true. So have you seen it in real life when people have these lines? You can literally look at it and be like, that's a line. On camera, fine, looks great. Look, oh, great isn't the word, but it looks absolutely fine. But again, real life, is a line on your face great in real life? We've kind of come to expect to see it online. I mean, imagine being a bride and your makeup artist doing this to your face, and in all your wedding pictures you have this line here. See what you think of that makeup in 10 years time.
Granted, could that be because I'm bad at contouring? A distinct possibility. So I guess for contour in general, my advice would be, in terms of changing your routine, almost go backwards. Like typically we think, put down a darker color to create a shadow. Instead, I just like to put down a lighter.
So you guys know how I feel about baking around the eyes. The rest of the face is fine. It's the eye area that I don't like so much. I would have liked that maybe to be done with a lighter concealer if it's just for highlighting purposes. Because again, still powder on the skin to me has a certain texture that I don't like. But yeah.
Too subtle for you guys to see, but this side compared to this side just looks significantly more put together without looking like it has.
See, I feel like it would be more of an effect, and I don't even mean dramatic. I feel like it would be noticeable. Again, we're looking on camera, so in real life it could be quite a difference. I would like to see a lighter concealer being used. Again, it's me and the whole baking thing. I'm like, no baking. Sorry to interrupt the video, guys. I just wanted to add in here, when I mean concealer, like a lighter concealer, I don't mean a heavy, thick, another whole layer of concealer. A tiny dot of like a very fluid like texture concealer on the outside corner, and then blend it up and out to the hairline. That's what I mean by that, because then you still get that really nice creamy skin like texture rather than a flat matte texture, just to match with the rest of her skin that has this really nice kind of natural, beautiful kind of texture to it.
If you want your skin to look very, like, have a skin-like finish, use a cream blush, a liquid blush. Glossy Cloud Paint is sort of the holy grail. What I like about this blush is that it kind of matches my undertones, so it just sort of adds a glow, like a pinky orangey glow rather than a full blush color. I also, this hair is gonna kill me. I also want to mention that when you're putting on your blush, be cognizant of where you're putting it, y'all. I was not, okay? Up until really recently, I would just put blush on just sort of willy-nilly. Let's be honest, blush is always gonna look cute no matter what you do, right? But just like contour, blush can really, really shape your face. Like this is gonna make you look snatched. This is gonna make you look round. This is gonna make you look like a cute little e-girl. You know what I mean? Like, there's probably infinity different ways you can shape your face.
It's so true. Blush in a way is highlighting, and I don't mean highlight by brightness, it's focusing, it's adding focus to an area, so immediately it makes something more prominent. So as you can see here, that's such a great colour on her. That orangey tone has kind of lifted up this kind of cheek area. So when you're thinking about where you're applying blush, don't just do this and then apply it on your cheeks. You want to apply it where you want some structure and where you want some focus. So if you want a sharp cheekbone, you can add it up here. If you're like her and have this really nicely defined, she has this very Cleopatra-like shape face, if that makes sense, where it's kind of where she has like a nicer, wider forehead and it goes into this really lovely shape here. To be fair, she could put her blush anywhere, but where she's put it, just there, adds this kind of focus just to the cheeks here, to a point where she looks like she has cheekbones, but then she also looks like she has a lovely plumper face as well.
Using blush and contour, I've actually been wanting to do a video on that because I do a lot of face shaping for, well, I don't anymore really, but I used to do a ton of face shaping when I used to do my close-up headshot character pictures. So if you guys are interested in a video like that on the different ways you can shape your face using contour rather than just lines and then blush up this.
Okay, again, sorry. Again, contouring, the way you see people contour online, like do a line here, do a line here, do a line here, isn't for everyone. Everyone has a different face shape. Everyone needs to contour differently. So that would be a really interesting thing to see. It's great to see like when people do like character things, because you can see how important a contour is. You can see the depth that that kind of contour adds to the face. So that would be really interesting to see. So when someone tells you to contour, it's like, it's easy, just do a number 3. That's not how you contour for everyone. Take a look at your face shape. Where do you want structure? Where do you want to stand out? Where do you want height? Where do you want depth, you know?
Does anyone remember back in 2015, 2016, when we were all slaves to liquid lipstick? Literally, what was that? It was like there was no other lipstick that was available or like considered cool. There are still scenarios in which liquid lipstick is my go-to and my holy grail. Camera makeup being one of those scenarios. You're gonna get the most consistent and full coverage lippy, much like a very full coverage foundation, with a liquid lipstick that you're not going to get with a bullet lipstick or a tinted lip balm or something like that. Liquid lipstick creates the dreaded butt lip, where you have lipstick like this and lipstick like this, and all on the inside is your lip color, and it looks like a butthole. Like, it looks like a butthole. I heard that from Saf Nygaard, and I was like, oh my god, it deadass is a butthole lip. It's the only part of my makeup that I'm consistently having to touch up when I'm out in public, and you can't just put more liquid lipstick over it because it's crusty.
It's because it won't sit on the moisture. The skin here is already different to the skin here, so it's not going to sit on a wet texture.
If you want your lipstick to stay on your lips all day, where you never have to reapply it and you never have to add more pigment, I got you. Then, rather than taking liquid lipstick and going all along my lips, I'm going to make sure they're super moisturized with either a really intense lip balm or even Vaseline to keep the liquid lipstick a little bit less cracky, crunchy, problematic. 3 dots. And a couple dots on the bottom, and then use my finger to just diffuse them out. This is using way less product than you would normally use with a standard liquid lipstick. And I don't know if you'll be able to see on camera, but because we patted everything out with our finger, this liquid lipstick, this is Coco de Sueño by ColourPop, has turned into a Your Lips But Better wash. My lips feel soft. I can rub them together just like if they only had chapstick on. This has not dried out my lips, but it has deposited pigment. So
That's a really interesting point with a liquid lip, is I think when we know a product is full coverage, we go in with more product than we need to. It's like it's full coverage, I'll put loads on. Same with foundation. You see people dropping foundation on their face and painting foundation on their face with a full coverage foundation. A product is made to be full coverage doesn't mean you have to use a full amount. You can still use a normal amount and you're going to get that full coverage. That's why the product is made to be full coverage. I would watch how much moisture you put on your lip in terms of gripping. I've never tried this technique, so I can't say whether it lasts. She says it does, so we'll trust her. But the more product you put on your face, the more product there is to break down, and the more product there is to ruin and spoil. Spoil, that's not the word. So by putting less product on, whether it be foundation, concealer, lip product, it's more than likely going to last. The more product doesn't mean the longer it's going to last.
Now, last but definitely not least is highlight. Highlight is another one of those things where the difference between highlight that looks really good in person versus on camera is very different, I found, at least on me. My favorite on-camera highlight is Cookie by Benefit Cosmetics, which is around here somewhere. If you can see, it's very, very, very bright, which is why it looks so good on camera. You can even see it reflecting the light here. But what I like to use for in-person highlight is Bare Minerals highlighter. I don't know if you'll be able to tell the difference, but it's much less reflective than this one.
With your highlighter, you need to think how light bounces off the highlight. So on camera, when people are like on Instagram, they get a new highlighter and they put like a shitloads on, and then they're like, oh my god, it highlights really well. It's because they put way too much on. Like, that's not going to look great in real life. So the color you are using does make a huge difference. The color I use to highlight my face right now, I have on like this pink highlight, which I would never use in real life because it will look ashy on my skin. So I have this one from Ofra. This pinky one mixed with this yellow is what I use on camera because I know the camera's going to pick it up really well. This is where people go wrong a lot with highlight, and a lot of the time you get like this grey highlight effect is because you're using something that's way too light. Yes, you can be experimental with highlighter like you can with any kind of makeup, but bear in mind that a grey face isn't the most desirable tone. So do be careful with what shade you're using. Look at it in different lights. Get yourself 2 different highlights or a few different highlights.
I also recommend, rather than using a very pointed brush to do your highlight, if you want a skin-like finish, use a bit of a bigger brush and just sort of wash the color.
Very, very good point. A brush like this compared to a brush like this, for example, this is a lot bigger, a lot rounder, further away from the skin, it's softer, it's going to apply the product less densely. This is smaller and stubbier and more compact, so it's going to add products to the skin heavily. People used to do, remember when people used to apply the highlighter with a fan brush because it didn't apply too much product, it was more natural, and then this stippling motion like this is so much nicer than doing this, This highlight is not going to be like a bam highlight for the gods, but in person you can see it's much less like a stripe of highlighter and more like when I turn my head, the light just sort of naturally hits it. How beautiful does that look in real life? Can you imagine having this amazing glowing skin and people are like, is it highlighter or does she just have really, really good skin? That's my goal with highlighter anyway.
And again, I don't want this to come across as me telling you guys to wear like less makeup. I literally paint my entire body like twice a month. But I think we've sort of defaulted to using products in a way that's not the most conducive to face-to-face interactions. Like I was saying earlier with the big concealer triangle, that one stripe of highlighter looks incredible on camera, but when you're talking to somebody with a stripe of highlighter, you're very aware that it's just like a stripe of highlighter. I don't know how else to describe it. I think this is significantly more natural looking, at least from what I've found. But I think other than that, we're done.
So she was saying just then that it might not look as good on camera or the same on camera as it does in real life. I think it looks incredible. Imagine meeting her in real life with that makeup. You would still think, wow, incredible skin, amazing eyes, amazing lip color, all this other stuff, versus, again, what she just said, a texture. You're seeing texture in people's skin, and that does come from too much product. I have seen so many of these videos recently that's... Why am I so far across this way? I have seen so many videos recently that's all about educating people on how makeup looks different on camera versus real life, and I get so many messages from people saying thank you for pointing that out because I didn't realize, because I grew up learning from Instagram and YouTube, whatever. So to see this happening on YouTube, whether it's from her or from someone else, or seeing these like TikTok things where it's like how to have great skin naturally, is incredible. Be happy that people are starting to consider real life versus, you know, online makeup. And there's nothing wrong with online YouTube, Instagram makeup. It is an art form, it is creativity, it's something you can do in your room and have an amazing time with it and take pictures and all that kind of stuff. That's still great, still go ahead and do that, but let's be more real about it. You know, let's be like, this is how I'm going to do my makeup for this situation because I'm under all this light. Let's have more real life tutorials. That'll be absolutely incredible. I actually challenge YouTubers to do my makeup in real life, up close. Here's my face, here's me against the window, here's what my makeup looks like. I think that'll be amazing. What a great video with some great advice. The skin looks incredible. The way she applied that highlight is so nice. It just goes to show you don't need to pile and pile and pile it on. Alright guys, well I hope you enjoyed that video. I would love to know your opinions below. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you, what day is it today? Sometime this week. Thank you so much again, guys. I will see you very soon. Bye.